Welcome to another episode of the 100% podcast with me, your host, Harry Purdy. And for the second week in a row, I am joined by me. Now, just to clarify on this episode of the podcast right now, that this isn't going to be a common thing. It's just at the moment, we've been in lots of different places over the last few weeks. It's been really hard to nail down and book people in to come on to episodes with myself, whether it be in person or on Zoom. And fundamentally, I don't want to miss out on the consistency that I've nailed down over the last 18 months with regards to getting out the podcast on a consistent basis and providing the regular listeners with little nuggets of info here and there and new listeners as well when they drop in to listen to the show. And me doing these solo episodes is just making sure that my podcast still pops out, because who knows who it's helping in the background, and who knows what the little bits of information that I drop, even on these solo episodes, may be doing to impact somebody's life. So, without further ado, we'll carry on with the 176th episode of the podcast. And today, I'm just here to talk about two of the most common factors that I come across as a coach, as a wellness expert, as a PT, with regards to why people don't start or don't continue with their own fitness journeys, or don't even start their fitness journeys. And the first of which is something I spoke about online yesterday. I did a reel about something, the big word, the big M, motivation. And motivation is just a funny old thing, right? Because we have this kind of perception in life that's been created from somewhere, that you need to be motivated all the time to be able to achieve X, Y, or Z, whatever your goal may be. It may be creating energy, it may be losing body fat, it may be just becoming all round healthy. It may not be completely niche. And I'm sorry to say, but waiting for motivation is kind of stupid. No, not even kind of stupid. It is stupid, because motivation in itself is a descriptive word and is a feeling motivated. You can switch that word with anything: feeling sad, feeling happy, feeling excited, feeling down in the dumps, feeling inspired, which probably corresponds with motivation. That's not my point. My point is that every emotion that you feel, everything that you start with, I feel something, that is always a fleeting thing anyway. So to say that even if you're at the top of the game, even if you're a coach like myself, even if you're somebody who likes to put themselves out there and is happy to say that I'm on this self-improvement journey, I still sometimes don't feel motivated. So to say that we need to be motivated to start our own journey to do something is genuinely unproductive. Let's go with that word rather than stupid. And where I'm going with that is that if you're waiting on a fleeting moment to make sure that you start whatever your journey might be, weight loss, energy, mental health, happiness, getting fitter, signing up to a challenge, all of those things, if you're waiting for motivation to be around all the time, you'll be waiting forever. And I said something in the post I did yesterday is commit first, get motivated later. So commit first, and then with the actions that you will be taking on during that journey, you will then create that motivation by the results that you get. I also said that at the moment I'm at my heightened state of fleeting emotion and fleeting motivation, because recently I've had some quite successful times. Recently I've been feeling quite strong. Recently I've been seeing some differences in the way that my body looks and the way that I feel overall. So that then leads to motivation. But all of those actions that I've taken, a whole 6 years of consistent action where things have come and gone in my life and challenges have occurred, and I've not felt great myself when it comes to the mental health side of things, and whether how happy I am. All of those actions that I've put in has led me to get this feeling of motivation right now. The same with the podcast, right? I felt motivated when I clocked over the 20,000 downloads, because I saw evidence that the work that I was putting in was getting me somewhere. Not obviously to the heightened scale that I'd love to be one day, or I'd love to impact more people, right? So yeah, Going back to that big motivation thing, it's only ever fleeting anyway. So to wait for it is not a productive use of your time. You have to create it yourself. And the other point I've put down, why wait for it? I think we've covered that though, with that last little bit, speaking about the fleeting emotions that we go through. Why might you have a lack of it then? Why do you think, if we was to ask a question on the podcast today, you might have a lack of it? I can give you some examples. Are you neglecting your sleep? Are you spending too much time on your phone? Are you drinking most weekends? Are you neglecting your nutrition? If any of those answers are yes, then there is a severe chance that you may be impacting your overall energy. And then the creation of that fleeting feeling that may be inspiration, that may be motivation, that may be drive, that may be hunger is going to be impacted as well. So it's really important. And this isn't about restrictive. This isn't about restricting. This is about looking after yourself to get the best feelings to be able to then go away and achieve what you want to achieve and create and start that journey that if you're listening to this podcast, you've either started or are looking to start and ensure that you're giving yourself a better chance to feel motivated when you do start your journey. And one thing I'd say as well is that motivation feeling when you've started your journey, if you was to put 2, 3, 4 weeks into something completely wholeheartedly, whether you're feeling motivated, inspired, and driven or not, when you eventually do a check in with yourself, when you eventually check in with how much progress you've made, whether it be with photos, whether it be with the scales, whether it be with how much you're lifting in the gym, how much you're turning up, how much faster you are on the road if you're running, or how much easier it feels, that's when you're going to get that motivation. That's when you're going to get something in place that is going to continue and help you continue your journey. So, going back to that question of why might you have a lack of it, are you setting yourself up to fail right now? Are the actions you're currently taking setting yourself up to fail right now, which is therefore leading you to give yourself no chance of getting that motivation feeling anyway? There you go. That's my thoughts on motivation today. The other most common one that I experience in when I speak to people who may be inquiring about my services or how they go from only being able to run a mile to running half marathon. They want to change their life for the better by taking on a challenge, or it may even be just becoming part of the 100% hybrid online and in-person community. And another client of mine, one of the biggest objections that they say and come across is, Harry, I could never do what you do because I don't have the time. Now, one of the biggest impacts on my life, as you're aware, Paul Mort, I've been part of his coaching program for over 3 years now. The first thing he said to me when I said that I was struggling for time was check your screen time. And this is a big, 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 big insight, or was a big insight for me when I was back in the day checking my screen time and it was 7, 8 hours. And that would be a real insight to hold on a minute, H. You are saying you've got not got any time, but you're doing X, Y, and Z on your phone. And that's impacting the productivity that you are trying to say that you want to create. And that is something that I would always challenge you to think about as well. And that doesn't necessarily need to be phone screen time. That can be how many episodes on Netflix do you watch back to back? That could be 3, 4 hours. How much unnecessary TV is being watched in your household? It could also be the time spent procrastinating, where you're thinking about doing something but you don't do it. That is something I'm very good at. But I don't want it to sound like a lecture, right? It's just a question that I think is really important that you ask yourself. What are you putting in your own way that is then letting you tell yourself that you don't have any time to start your own 100% journey, your own health and wellness journey, a journey that essentially is going to impact you, most importantly, but impact the people around you as well. The other thing that I'd say is there's a few myths around time and starting your own weight loss, energy creating, mental health journey, self development journey, is that you need a lot of time to be able to go and achieve things when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to feeling better, when it comes to having more energy overall. And one of those things is that when you add habits to your life, people think that that can take a lot of time away. Well, actually, it's the small actions that add up to big results. So when we speak about adding habits, sometimes those habits are time consuming, right? So actually, if I was to say to you, okay, you've got to follow my own exercise routine right now, yeah, that would probably take 6 or 7 hours out of your week. But that's not what we're asking here. When you think about fat loss goals and fat loss clients, for example, you're actually looking to take away things to make little additions and little pluses to their life. And when I speak about that, I mean food, right? To get yourself into a space where you are not happy with the way you look, which I have done, obviously, is where my journey started, where you are overweight, somewhere along the line in your weekly routine, there is too many calories going in. So, one of the first things you can do straight away is just assess where you're at with your nutrition, with your diet. How much extra calories are you consuming? This doesn't mean that you have to reduce the food, but does mean that maybe a little bit of a review can be needed. And therefore, doing something like that isn't actually going to take too much time out of your life. The other thing as well that is really important to think about here is some of these mini habits that can create a new feeling, uh, like even create some motivation for you. Is that some of these mini habits that I have in my life literally take minutes, minutes. And I think if you were to really be self-critical and self-analytical in something like journaling, which takes me 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, but has it inspirationally powerful impact on my life. If you were to tell me that you've not got time, 10 minutes in the day to journal, morning and night, to impact your overall productivity, your overall energy, and how you feel about yourself, I'm going to call you a liar because everybody's got 10 minutes and everybody should take 10 minutes to check in with themselves. This is something I'm quite passionate about, hence the creation of the 100% journal, whereby we just analyze how we're feeling, and not in a sense of I want to analyze how bad I'm feeling, but how do I want to get to feel today? How can I create that feeling? And then you can create your own little habits. Just for example, one of the habits that I've created, which is a small one that everybody can do, 9 times out of 10 of you are going to have a hot drink when they wake up in the morning, right? Whether it be a coffee or a tea or whatever it may be, even a glass of water, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be a hot drink. But we habit stack there, or I habit stack there. So that means that I take my daily supplements in the morning there straight away. Now, of course, supplements are called supplements for a reason because they're not going to be the thing that gets you the result that you want. But that is a healthy habit that doesn't add any time to my day. And I would ask you to consider what you are saying you can't do and ask yourself, really, is it really true that you cannot do it? Because I'm going to say, if you say you can't, then you're more than likely not going to. But if you give yourself a chance to, then you're going to open up a few new avenues, a few new doors that's going to enable you to feel a little bit differently about the journey that you want to set yourself up on. And the other thing as well, going back to the going back to the Netflix situation, if for example's sake, on a, again, this is very fat loss specific, right? Or feeling better with your nutrition. Let's just go with that. But fat loss, losing weight. In terms of that Netflix time that I'm talking about, let's just say you didn't watch that one episode out of four that you would normally do, and you only watch three on a Sunday, but that hour you spend watching Netflix normally, you spend in the kitchen and prepping, let's just go with 80% of your main meals, your main dinners in the week. I can guarantee you, if you want to start a fat loss journey, that adding a little small habit with journaling, 10 minutes a day, plus 1 to 1.5 hours not watching TV, just creating meals in a week can get you a massive head start on where you want to be because you're going to leave things less to chance and you're going to have things prepared for you to be able to go and achieve it. Now, again, I never want these podcasts to turn into lectures, but I'm just here to challenge. I'm just here to open up new thought waves, open up new avenues where you can look and think about your own current actions and ask whether the excuses or reasoning that you're putting in place that you can't do something is actually true. And if you really wanted to do it, then you probably would. They do say, and I have been told this as well, that people's actions always let you know their priorities, right? So if your action is watching that extra episode of Netflix, then that shows what your priority is. If you really want change, you can definitely make time to do it. I'd love to know people's screen times, by the way. I'd love to know people's insights. I'd even love to know if you've got something that challenges what I'm saying, because I'd love to have a discussion with you. But if I was to look at myself now and the habits that I would have had 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they've gradually changed. This isn't something, this isn't something that you're gonna wake up tomorrow and go, bang, right, I'm committing 3 extra hours towards my health and well-being journey today, towards my 100% self-development journey. This is a journey, and it's called a journey for a reason, because it's going to take you time to unravel bad habits, create new habits, add different things into your life, try different things in your life to see if they're going to have an impact on you. That is everything I wanted to cover today with motivation and time. And it just covers a couple of common objections that people normally go through. Now, if you're listening to this and you're based in the Yeovil area, I have a few spaces left for my hybrid coaching scheme. That means that you get me online and in person. Everything 100% online coaching, and of course, added with the PT coaching as well. So if you're interested in that, make sure you drop me a DM or drop me an email or just give me a message. Let me know if you're interested. And if you're after a freebie today about 100% coaching and about journaling, which we've covered a little tiny bit on today's podcast, I have a free 100% journal available for 14 days. This can uplift your productivity, make you feel more energized, and just make you feel better about yourself and where you're at in life, because it gets you to put your focus every day where you want it, not where you have been putting it. And generally, when people have used it for 14 days, it has unlocked a new thing and potentially will give you a holy shit moment. So if you want that, just click the link in the description of the episode or go to my Instagram bio and you can get it there as well, which is Harry Purdy Official on Instagram. If you haven't liked, if you have liked, not haven't liked, if you have liked today's episode, please go over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and drop me a 5-star review. And if you are watching on YouTube, hey, I hope this hasn't felt too much like a lecture. So please drop down, like and subscribe below. Let's challenge these little excuses that you have been putting in place. I'll catch you here with a new episode every Friday. Take care.